Hey everybody, welcome to Cowboy Leather and Shoe Repair. I'm Scott. Today, I think I've done a video on this just briefly, but we're going to talk about the type of knives and cutting things I use for cutting the leather. There's so many of them out there. I just have a small amount that I find are work for what I do and how I do it. So let me tilt the camera down and we'll show you. All right, let's start off with rotary cutter. It's a great tool. I like this one. It's handy, it's comfortable in your hand. It's got got a little trigger here. Keeps the blade covered. Now this is a leather knife or shoe repair knife. It's made by Murray, made in the United States. It's a good little knife for cutting just whatever. Now this is a piece of, I think it's 17, 18 inch leather. Now I usually cut using about that much, I don't know if you can see it, of the blade. See how it just lops it off? Not much pressure to it. I mean, it'll even cut if you drop it down, but you got to make a couple swipes through it. But like I say, I usually use the tips of the knives. And let's see here. This, made by the same company. I don't know what it's really called, but I call it a hawkbill. Again, we're going to cut off works real good, no effort. Now again, I only use about that much of the blade. Got your X-Acto knife. It's good for cutting, around small things. Working on. This is just basically upholstery leather. Probably won't work as well as I want it to, but cuts real good. That's where my rotary knife comes in. If you're using upholstery leather, and it'll even cut through, I think that's 7/8 ounce veg tan. It does, but it still leaves a little bit. But I find rotary knife comes in handy. Then we've all seen your changeable handled knife. They come with the curved blade, and they also come with straight blade. Good for cutting around patterns, tight areas. Also got one of these head knife. I use that occasionally. It's a handy. Where I find it works pretty good is if I'm working with real thick stuff. It works pretty good there. Sometimes you got to go through again. But the thing about these is you can cut using it on the edge. Roll it if you need to skive. It skives. It's a good tool to have if you want to pay the extra money. In Walmart. Works wonders. I use it for cutting out patterns, whatever. I mean, it works. So, I mean, I like that. It's got a disposable blade in it. You don't have to sharpen it. You just push this little white one here. They're all different. That's the blade in it. Yes, these blades can be sharpened, but my feeling is, why? You can go to Lowe's, Home Depot, wherever, and get the blades. Think like 50 of them, 100 of them. You're only paying like $5, $6. Now here's a very handy tool, a scalpel. This is good for cutting out, working around patterns, cutting fine work. I mean, it'll even cut this thick leather. But most time, I use it for cutting patterns out or something where I have to get into the corners. Now you can get these from where'd I get this? Oh, Maker's Leather Supply. Contact them there. I think I got 20 blades, and the handle comes separately. I'm thinking right around $20, but it's well worth the money. And naturally, you gotta have scissors. Scissors come in handy for cutting this stuff. These I got at Harbor Freight. I think they were like $3. They're crude looking, but they cut real good. And I've had them now for 2, maybe 3 years, and I don't think I've ever sharpened them. Then I've got these big rascals here. They're handy. You know, you know how to work scissors. Just don't run with them. But anyways, and I got a straight. That one's got disposable blade in it. Now strap cutters. Push these side to side. I've got 2 wooden ones. These I've got set. That one's set for 3/4 inch straps. That one's set at 1.5 inch straps. Then I've got this one. This one's old. I believe, I don't remember who makes it, but it goes all the way up to 4 inches. Now these, if you get them from Tandy or Weaver or wherever you get it, the blade in them, I find the blade is too thick. It's too much. It's like a snowplow. It cuts, but you really gotta, put some force behind it. As you can see, I use blades that go into box cutters or the changeable. So you get one here. That's what they look like. I use those. Yes, you can hone these, but why? Again, you can buy them for, 500 of them or 50 for less than $5 bill. Now, if you noticed, I set this down with that blade facing up. I should know better. That's a no-no. I've laid that down with that blade up like that, and I happen to reach across, and I open myself up. I drew first blood. So if you got one like that, and you got that blade hanging out there, turn it upside down, or put it back where you got it, because it will lay you open before you can even blink. Now, And the wooden, they take a blade like that. Those you can get at Tandy. You can, if you find straight razors, use or not a straight razor, but a safety razor. You can use the razor blade out of those in here. Now I'm telling you all these things to try and save you some money. I don't think I've got $30-40 worth of cutting knives here. Now, this is what I use to keep them sharp. Diamond, that's fine, that's coarse, and that's a ceramic stick with a small stropping on it. I also use an oil stone with a rough side or smooth side, rough side. And before you use your knives, just run them across, sharpen them up a little bit. Take a wooden block. This one here is older than Methuselah. I think I built this when I first started out 16 years ago. But before you go to start cutting, just take that thing, just run it across there a couple times. I use, where the heck is it? Jeweler's Rouge. I just rub a little on there. Go back and forth a couple times. Take the burr off, and it's sharp. Same thing with the head knife. Same thing with that knife. All of them can be sharpened. Or no butcher steel. That comes in real handy. I just kind of hold it up and just run it down there a couple half dozen times, and it puts a nice edge on there. Now, one of the reasons I like the rotary knife is because when you make fringe for purses or bags, or even fringe on your chaps or chinks, it works a lot better than using a knife like that. Well, I was on Maker's Leather Supply website because I used to cut them out by hand. This is a fringe cutter, 1/4. That rotary blade fits in there just nice and handy, and you can run down through there and make yourself perfect fringe. So that's why I got this, and I got this. I like that. That's slicker than sliced bread. But if you need anything like that, or the scalpel, stop by Maker's Leather Supply website, and they will set you up. I'm a believer that a sharp knife, less strain on yourself, you're less apt to cut yourself if you slip, and it makes it a lot easier when you go to clean up your edges or varnish your edges on your work. A sharp knife is a necessity. That's just me. But I hate a dull knife. Even my pocket knives have got, sharp edges on them. But I carry 2 or 3 knives because each one of them has a function. But with that said, just you know what you need in the line of knives. You don't have to spend a small fortune to get a good cut, to just make them last long. Use anything that's got disposable blades on it. Yes, you can sharpen them, but again, why? You can go buy 500. I think they come in a, Stanley makes them, they come in a stacked container about that big, and you just flick it, comes out, put it in there, throw it away. You don't have to sharpen them. And they're not that expensive. So, I guess that's it. There's not too much more I can tell you, except for be careful. Everything and anything you got in your leather shop will sting you, bite you, or cut you severely. So with that said, I'm going to go back to work, and I appreciate everybody stopping by. We try and post a video every Friday. Sometimes, things happen. We don't get one. But if you would, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. It'll notify you when we have new videos up. And I'm not here to be a YouTube star. I'm just here to pass on what information and what I've done, the things, basically the good, the bad, and the ugly of leather work. So, with that said, I'm out of here. See you on the next go round. Bye now.